Guys, I'm back with a new video and let's talk about Insidious 6. So, yes, we're here to talk about the new Insidious film. I believe it's the 6th one. It's titled Out of the Further, not the most original title, but honestly, I'm just gonna be straightforward. I wasn't expecting a really good film. I love the Insidious franchise. I think the first Insidious is if not the most, but one of the most terrifying, scary horror movies that there are. It's definitely on my top 5 scariest horror films. And I do think it mostly stayed consistent, although I do believe the first 2 are the best. Surprisingly, I'm not a huge fan of the third one. The fourth one is okay. The last one that came out 2 years ago, I believe, was just fine. And I think it was kind of unnecessary, but at the same time interesting. And yeah, now we have a 6th one. We'll probably have more. We'll see. But yeah, once a franchise has too many sequels, you just don't expect the same quality. Sometimes you are surprised, but yeah, I'm rambling. All of this just to say that I didn't have a lot of expectations for this film, but I am a fan of the franchise. I like Insidious. I like Insidious more than The Conjuring. So I went into it not expecting a lot, but hopeful that it would deliver something and that I would come out surprised. So post that, let's find out if it was surprising. So if you don't know what this new Insidious film is about, this follows a completely different family. It's a sequel, down many years after the first films, and I believe many, a few years after the previous one. And the only connecting piece here is Elise, Lynch's character. And yeah, it's about the further again, obviously. But yeah, it's a completely different family and not a completely different story, but there's more details added to this world. As far as cast goes, as I said, it stars Lynch, but I was so surprised that I knew most of the other cast members. I believe I knew basically everyone besides the little girl. So it also stars Amelia Heath, who I know from The Haunting of Bly Manor, if I'm not mistaken. It also stars Brendan Pereira, who you might know from Nope, and Maisie Richardson Sellers, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, who I know from Legends of Tomorrow, the show. This is Legends of Tomorrow. That's where I know her from, but I believe she has been in a few things. So yeah, I was surprised that I knew most of the cast. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't know anything besides the title of the film and that it starred Lynch. So it was a nice surprise. So now let's get to my actual thoughts on the film. So overall, I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't disappointed either. I feel like the film is a pretty average one. It is mostly on the same level as the previous film, where it has good things going for it, but also bad things. The things that I liked the most about this film is the tone, the tone for the most part of the film. It has a great start. The first half of the film, it creates tension. It has amazing, great scares. not like big jump scares, but in the way that they aren't your typical jump scares. You see things in the background, you think there's a jump scare going to happen and it doesn't happen, and sometimes it doesn't happen right away and happens a little bit later. So I think the film, for the most part, stays true to the Insidious identity, not only with the scares but also like visually, like the color grading, like all those blues and greens, they are so Insidious. It's a really cool toned film. And then there's also a few reds, obviously, because it's Insidious. Like there's a lot of like cool tones and then reds. So yeah, I think for the most part the film feels like an Insidious film. And then the second half starts happening, and it's not that it doesn't feel like an Insidious film, it's just that it becomes too cliche, too predictable, and just a little bit like dumb. And not only the film itself feels kind of dumb, but also makes the audience feel kind of dumb. There's a lot of exposition, and I don't know, there's something about the second half of the film that just doesn't feel as suspenseful and scary as the first part. There's, as I said, a lot of great sequences in the beginning of the film, and then once you're in the further, I guess that's not really a spoiler, so once you're in that world, it just doesn't feel as scary for some reason. Like you would think like there's all these entities and things happening, and it should feel scarier, but it just doesn't. As far as the story itself, I liked, again, it feels like an Insidious film with new elements. Like this family isn't exactly the same as the original family. There's more details added to the world, and I think those make sense and are interesting. So I can totally see them going forward with more, maybe more with this family, maybe more with these new elements. So there's definitely potential for more films. Obviously, they can always add stuff in this world. But yeah, I liked the details and the things that they added. They were interesting. The acting was good as well. Like, as I said, I knew most of these actors and I know they are good actors. It just really depends on the script. And I think the script is fine. And overall, the film is just average. It's not bad, but it doesn't really add a lot to the genre. And although it adds more things to the Insidious franchise, I mean, we didn't really need those things. I think the first two films were kind of enough. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like, there's a lot of other franchises that keep adding films, and some of the new ones are pretty good. So yeah, we'll see what comes next. But as far as this one, I feel like it's on the same level as the previous film, The Red Door. I'm not sure if I reviewed it, but if I did, I leave it up here. But like, yeah, it's fine. If you are an Insidious fan, go watch it. If you're not really a big fan, maybe just wait and watch it at home. I do believe you need to watch at least 1, 2, and 5, because there's mentions to the like what happened in the previous film, and you should know a little bit about the Lamberts and the entities that appear in those films. But I don't think the third one and the fourth one are really essential to watching this film. Yeah. I guess post that, let's get to my scores. So guys, overall I'm gonna give the film a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's fair. I said it's pretty average, so it's middle of the road. It's not great, but it's not bad either, so yeah, 2.5. Cinematography, I'm gonna give it a 3. I think, as I said, it's good. It feels like an Insidious film. I like the color grading, but there weren't any like moments that really wowed me, so yeah, a 3. And originality, I guess I'm gonna give it a 2.5 as well. Not only like it's a franchise, but also there's not like there's new things, but not as new. Like the new things aren't enough to make it super original, and they do bring back elements and things from the previous films, and there's also like things that happen that are really reminiscent from other horror movies. So I don't think it's super original. The core concept of the Insidious franchise is original. I like it. But in this particular film, there aren't enough original things to make it super original. So guys, these are my thoughts on Insidious Out of the Further. If you have seen it already, please tell me in the comments what you thought of this one. Tell me how would you like maybe rank it in like, you don't need to mention all the other Insidious films, but like, is this like your favorite, your least favorite? Does it fall like in the middle? Tell me if you are an Insidious fan. I feel like there's this debate, not as much right now, like there was this thing where you either are an Insidious fan or a Conjuring fan. So tell me in which one you fall. And yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!